Hey, just putting this out there, but Alien Worlds has shine tools. You know, you can take one step above and go to extra mention and stuff like that. So
Like that. Shows the Alien World is nimble enough to keep up with the new ƒractal thing.
All right. Well, I say then we just do this one room, do 7, and we'll, maybe in our breakout afterwards, after we're done our consensus, think of, what that new sparkly extra top level is, I guess.
fine.
Okay. The sparkly top level.
Yeah. It's instead of mythical, it's like ultra mythical, or like, yeah.
Well, we don't
Something
have
alien
magic yet, so we could go with magical.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because now you move beyond the physical world into the magical world. That's something.
I see a lot of people with great creative ideas. I'm really excited that someone's going to help out create this extra special NFT.
And if you need above magical, it'd be spiritual. That, of course, is the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be, maybe it's invisible. It's so fancy you can't even see it. Kind of like COVID or something. You don't even know you got it.
The multiverse mythical.
Yeah. All right, guys. Who wants to moderate?
Are we doing any time limits, or are we just going since we have everybody in the same?
I say we keep it to maybe 3 minutes for intros, and if we can in 20 minutes start doing our consensus, we should be good.
Yep, 21. I'll volunteer to moderate if nobody else has a desire to.
Thanks so much, Jason. That's awesome.
So I might as well get us kicked off then. I'll nominate an intro first, just looking around the videos here to see who looks ready. I'm going to nominate Mockingbird Sparrow. Mark?
All right, real quick. Most of you probably know I put together a newsletter, weekly newsletter. It's been ongoing for over a year. Fractally, its origin and pre-origin of the team working with Eden is in there. I list all the other fractals that are holding meetings on a weekly basis. So Alien Worlds is listed there. I encourage people to join the discussion, because we want people to learn fractally. We don't want them just coming in having to learn to hear or whatever. So it is encouraged to get an understanding of what's going on in the Genesis fractal, but also to join the fractal that interests you. It was last week, it wasn't this week, that I did a gaming article. I'm a huge believer that the gaming community understands digital assets. And if I had more free time, I would definitely invest in there or put my time in there. Well, that's it. I mentioned Alien Worlds from time to time. I'm like citing it. I think I mentioned how Alien Worlds sees itself as like a platform for games, so games within games. I mentioned that BitShares, because we were talking about cross or multi-fractal NFTs, because BitShares can exchange tokens. It's an exchange, so the idea of having fractal tokens being exchanged using the BitShares token. And we wanted to do NFTs to encourage people to check it out. And Wax was already, it's already there. It's easy to get people to see that. So I mentioned, we talked about it, I brought it up there. There's some interest in that, but I don't think they understood the idea of games within games. And I will pass it off to Dan.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Marco. Thank you very much. I was just finishing the presentation thing, so hopefully it will show up. And I'll just briefly check to make sure, and I'm pretty sure everything's working. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was just putting together a presentation. It's mostly what I shared at the Eden Fractal event yesterday, but I'll also keep it short because I know that I see Eric with a 3-minute timer. But yeah.
I haven't started for you yet because.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Marco was a bit faster than needed, but cool. So it sounds good. I'll move. Sorry for the messy presentation so far, but yeah. So this week I've been working a lot on the Eden Creators website. I've done a lot for fractal governance in general, and I've done a pretty small amount for Alien Worlds Fractal, but well, kind of a lot in a way. But I'll mention it. So for people who haven't seen it, the Eden Creators website, it's helping everyone cooperate fractally to make the best experience possible with Web3. And there's the Eden Fractal, which I host and do a lot of work for each week. And then Genesis Fractal, which is awesome on Saturdays, and videos and garden events and about section and so forth. So yesterday, the main contribution, I suppose, which hasn't really released to the Alien Worlds community and Alien Worlds Fractal, is I did an interview with Patrick and Dwayne yesterday. And we had a very fun interview talking quite a bit about Alien Worlds and Alien Worlds Fractal. That'll be coming out on the Nova Crypto channel with the edited version in like 5 days or so. And then for the Eden Fractal, I managed the website and I put out the tweet for the week 9 rewards where people can join. I encourage everybody to come join us. And sorry, some things are loading. And I also added videos to edenfractal.com/videos where people can see all of them. They're always interesting. Sorry, my tweets are reloading right now. Sometimes that happens when my presentation isn't ready. But I also worked quite a bit this week on Eden Pomelo, the Eden Creators Pomelo grant. And I retweeted Marco's tweet. Thank you for that, Marco. And yeah, that just ended yesterday. I raised a bit more. So thank you everybody who donated. I think a couple people here did, so thank you so much. And it's largely to help EOS with fractal governance and cooperation and so forth. Yeah, and then this week I wrote a bunch of articles about Eden Fractal, how it provides public goods for the EOS community, and wrote a lot about fractal governance in general here. This also applies for the Alien Worlds Fractal, and I think at some point I'd like to write about how Alien Worlds Fractal helps Wax and Alien Worlds and people in general and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of sub articles here where you can learn more. I'm almost done with time, so I'll go quickly. But I also talked about the Eden Fractal tooling, which the Alien Worlds Fractal might want to use more. I know that Dwayne was talking with Vlad, who develops a lot of it. So I wrote about like the different features that it provides and how it can empower communities. I also spoke last week on the Everything EOS Fireside Chat with Eve about this and shared some details, and then shared the UI demo and so forth. So yeah, did a bunch of that tooling, and then I've also been working on a big campaign to fund Eden Fractal developers more, and I'm going to be aiming to raise 10,000 EOS in funding for developers from the ENF pretty soon. And then I did a bunch of articles, or just like just a bunch of draft posts, really, stuff I'm writing also about how this can help with IBC and so forth. Again, it's not super well organized, but I wrote a bunch, and then I also helped participate in a bunch of other fractal things, and I'm always working to help promote it and so forth. So thank you, everybody.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Don't forget to nominate the next introduction, please.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. Thanks, Jason. I will nominate Thomas.
Great. Thanks, Dan. How's everyone doing? It's my second Worlds meeting. So my contribution this week would have been, I was running the BitShares Fractal meeting, and I had mentioned this last week here, but we did it. So we had a meeting, and I handed out 2 Alien World NFTs as rewards for joining the meeting. And there's Marco's there. He got one of them. And, you know, so that's just kind of a project that I'm looking into as far as engaging different communities. And I'm on the Fractally in Orbit team, and we've been talking about sponsoring this type of activity. So that happened, and that's my only real contribution per se to Alien Worlds. But you know, I'm not going to take up unnecessary time, and I'll pass it over to Eric.
Oh, thank you. Well, I finished my intro video for the Building the Metaverse podcast. And of course, I've interviewed Dan Larimar. I'm editing that now. I've interviewed Jason, and I'm interviewing Dwayne today, and maybe Patrick next week, and maybe KROWN after that. But what you may not know is I was really torn over the animation, how to link that, how to close to get it to game. I got violent things saying it's not about games. Anyway, I went for it. So if you've seen the opening, you can see we go to a black hole. That's very alien world centric. So it was meant on purpose to be applicable to play in that environment. So that was basically the logo design. I also hung out with the Fallbrook Art Association. I talked to them about adding the digital component and even the art gaming component to them, and even setting them up as a fractal. So that's something I'm working to the future. So I shared more the idea with the group, and I shared more equal animals with the executive director. His son is hot on this stuff, and he wants to hook them in to actually move the gaming into the art community as a fractal. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, we've been, I subscribed to the Dark Galaxies newsletter, and we've been working on that. I'm still trying to figure out how gaming can work with that. And then I also had a strategy session with Lisa to talk about dropping the NFTs that KROWN helped me create. So I've been working on a few of those, and I'm working on a drop strategy. So we have the drop tool that, but those that don't know JR's lands, a lot of those are in alien worlds. And so I looked at that NFT strategy for doing that, and trying to think about how we can promote that with what we're doing. So that's pretty mostly it for this week. So Jason, go for it.
Thank you for that. Everyone's really keeping inside the time frame so far. It's excellent. So I'll share, in this past week, I did the podcast World Talent Economy Forum with Dr. Sharif at Eric's invitation. We talked about the metaverse and the value. It actually turned into a little bit of a debate about how to even measure value, which no surprise there, right? But that was great. The podcast with Eric was also very excellent. I feel as though we were able to make mention of several projects pertinent to our space in our work, and highlight some of their appeal in that. And that, yeah, what I've been working on most this week really though is continuing with my own meetup, Crypto Oasis, in the way that we've become like the host slash, we're just part of the DAO with Quadriga Initiative. And the Quadriga Initiative is a recovery effort for scams and exit scams of exchanges. So maybe I've already shared it. Some of you in the group already have heard my spiel all about the Quadriga Initiative, but I mean, the rash continues. If anyone saw the 3 Arrows failure, just the worst. You know, this happened a while ago, several months ago, but it is the crater that we're living in right now. Very much as the Quadriga CX collapse in 2018 was, I feel as though like a final nail, or if not a causal driver, a primary causal driver for the price collapse in digital assets at the time. It's my belief at this point that market depth really matters, and the shape of market depth in price equilibrium and price discovery of digital assets. It lives and breathes on an exchange. I think that's the case. You know, like it lives and breathes on decentralized exchanges. Although we know of the rigidity risk with decentralized exchanges. And so the Quadriga Initiative, like I've relieved some of my ignorance in the past week about the history of the insurance industry, about the structure of insurance, and how there are levels of regulation that pertain to the safety and cybersecurity of exchanges. And public information, the state of public information, public awareness of the exchanges operating in the industry currently, with a focus on Canadian exchanges, though the big ones from other countries are on our radar too, because a lot of Canadians access the big exchanges from everywhere. And so we're creating a DAO. I'm trying to recruit them all to EOS, to the governance, because they don't have a token yet. It is already a decentralized group, the stakeholders. So I'm out of time. So I'll nominate, sorry. That's it for me this week. And I'll nominate Dwayne.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Just back in Canada for a few weeks. I've been distracted on a side project. Was able to squeak in an awesome interview with Dan and Patrick of Nova Crypto yesterday. Was able to have a meeting with Jordan, and Jordan was, I think he attended one of our first meetings, but he's started a drop tool, and I believe we'll bring that drop tool maybe to this group. But as KROWN kind of showed you the stats when we started out, and I know he shared some of the frenemies gamification of dropping NFTs. Yeah, we just want to expand the tools that are available to us and other community members. And just talking to KROWN this morning before the meeting, just seeing how that could really evolve into a drop tool for other games, metaverses, even Zoom, so it could have a bigger life than just a drop tool of NFTs to lands on alien worlds. But so that'll be fun. We'll see how we can incorporate that. I think that would, if we kind of incorporated that in our group, I think that would bring more people over to have some eyes on our ƒractal. And I usually invite a lot more people to the meeting, so I think the meeting's a little shy today because I didn't give out my normal reminders. But next week, I'm planning on starting a series where we interview the people that are going up for council members. So don't quote me on that. I've been super busy here in Canada, but I'm really wanting to get that started, just knowing that elections will be coming up at some point, and then just grab the kind of leaders from alien worlds and show them the value of our ƒractal process. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. That's about it. And I will pass it over to KROWN.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. So this week, I've mainly been focusing on how I can improve ƒractal, bringing more people to it, and moving forward into some fun little systems. So as we touched on the frenemy thing, I'll just quickly share my screen. This is something that we could all do. Make sure that I'm on the right screen. You should be able to see Nathan Fanarin, but he's been coned.
No, he's there.
So this is something with the frenemies thing. Even though he's an opposing candidate to me, I still put my mark on him, but then I gave him props and put his NFT out and stuff. So you can have some fun, play around with this. This might give you some little ideas of what you could do to put that little flair on the frenemies concept. And this is from my own collection. I minted it, I paid for it, I put it out there, so it still gives him some exposure, but he at least he doesn't get that exposure for free. It still comes from he got cone tag. So there you go. That's something. Been speaking to some community leaders and trying to see how we could make ƒractal even better. One of the things that I keep on coming back to is it's been mentioned by Eric with JR Lands, is there's a huge amount of lands not doing NFT drops at the minute, and we could do some sort of giveaway of ƒractal NFTs to bring more people into light, shine that light on ƒractal. And also I was thinking about a GiveLab campaign. I don't know if anyone here has used GiveLab, but it's a really popular method of giving out rewards for people participating. It could be tied into ƒractal governance, and it's pretty much free to run one as well. It doesn't take much. I've got some experience doing it. I've still got an account that's got premium business model on, so that's something that we could come together and be one of our first projects, because the drop tools would be great, but it's something that's going to be a long-term project. This is something that's more immediate and would get instantaneous results, and people like Eric would be able to bring his experience in marketing, shine some light on that, and hopefully moving forward that could be a lot of fun. Apart from that, mainly just preparing for the DAO release and thinking how we can pit the planets against each other. I know that we might have one or two candidate leaders in here already that might have opposing planets to the others. It'd be great to work with you to see how we could achieve that in a friendly way. Yeah, that's all from me.
Awesome.
Who hasn't been yet? I'm not sure. I think we've all been, haven't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just
Think so.
looking. That's everybody. So there are just a few points that we need to clarify in the group because we're doing a unique format today, right? We're doing 2 epic, right? 2 mythical, 2 legend. And are we voting for ourselves? I think that I would suggest that for the groups that I've worked in, when we vote for ourselves, when we rank ourselves in the place where we feel we belong appropriately, that just makes the conversation easier, and it makes our opinion more clear. Because even if we don't write our own name at any point in the exercise, we implicitly do anyway. Is what it amounts to.
I prefer the voting for the self. I only say the option's a good idea in case it's overrun by people not paying attention to anything but their own project. But yeah, no, I like it. And just a word of note, if it's going to be 7 NFTs, maybe looking back on how you organize that might be a challenge. But if you do 2 by 2, you probably won't have a management mess. As long as you can kind of identify rooms or whatever.
Yeah, I too agree with the voting for yourself, especially in a bigger group. And right now, our fractals that we give out, the top spot number 6 or mythical gets 21 fractals. But that's going to change. We did get Vlad to make us a tool that we'll be using next week that we'll be able to drop our wax addresses in, and it'll post our consensus on the wax blockchain. But for him not to do that much work, we're going to change and adopt how he's already made the tool, that the top person gets 55 fractals, and then it goes down from there. So the whole fractal amount that we're getting is going to be changing up next week anyways. So to keep consistent with just only 6 NFTs, does it make sense to maybe give, just do this in one grouping? So, 1 to 6, but we add 1, it's going to be 7. And do we give just the top person, 2 people, 2 mythical, and just give the extra mythical more of those fractals, since we're changing to like a bigger fractal distribution anyways? I don't know. It's trying to fit a peg in a square hole. But
I feel like it makes more sense, rather than like doubling the amount of rewards from number 7, to continue with the Fibonacci ratio, where it goes by approximately like 1.6 times.
yeah, for sure.
I feel like that makes the most sense. And then as far as going up to 55, whereas you were doing like 21 or something like that, I don't know exactly how to do that. But I guess we could just like retroactively figure out, because eventually also too, like according to the new the new addendum to Fractally white paper, they also have tokens. There's like 1 million tokens per week, rather than like 140 respect tokens. So eventually we might want to do that too. And I feel like you can do that calculation in like retroactively in a couple months or whatever as well.
My thinking is if you saw Gregory Wexler's weekly sheet, if you look back on this week, you need to put an asterisk in there. And then if you want to manipulate the columns, there may be an issue. So I don't know. I'm sure it can be worked out, but it just seems like it.
I think the easiest way would just be to just if you normally do 21 as rank as level 6, then you do 34 as level 7 and just keep something like that. But also, I don't want to overvoice my opinion. I know Jason was going to say something too. So if people want to do something different, that's really good too. That just seems like the simplest solution to me.
Yeah, no, I was actually nervously trying to fill the void with an answer here because I actually don't know the answer, but that sounds fun to me.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, I think we can get on with our consensus, and yeah, I'll just add one level of the Fibonacci on top of 21. So the top person today will get 34 fractals, and then the next one, number 6, will get 21. So sounds great. I think we can get to it.
So we're just going to put in 2 for level. Is this level 7 we're putting in then?
Yeah.
Cool. And are we just putting in 2 people?
I think we'll just go one at a time, and we'll just do all 7 top to bottom.
Okay, is that ready?
All right.
Yeah, let's count it down. So we've got the chat open. We wrote the name of level 7. Does anybody need more time?
I actually probably think it'd be easier to do 2 at the same time, because if they're the same level, then we don't spend time saying
Sure.
who's better, this one or that one. If we're just agreeing that they're both that level, I think it would be, there's no need to go into tweaking minutia like we often do when we're competing against 2 people if they're getting the same level.
Well, I thought we were doing 2 different levels, or it's level 7 and level 6, or we're doing 2 level 6s.
We're doing 2 level 7s, I guess, or unless level 7 is just 1. Is that right?
Well, I think the choice is either 2 level 6, or we add an extra level and we do 7 levels, and that 7 level will still just be a mythical card, but I'll give the extra fractals. So number 7, I think we vote on that, and that person will just get 34 fractals, and then the number 6 spot will get 21. So maybe we split it up.
Okay, so I would say do 1 person for level 7, then just put both names in for the other ones. It'll be easier since we're not separating their levels after that.
I think we are, though.
How?
Yeah, I think you're complicated.
Same number of points, same number of
Yeah, I think the only difference is we're just adding, we'll do exactly the same procedure. We're just adding a 1 extra level on top. So we're just going to add a 7 level, and then we'll do everything else similar. So
but we're giving 2 people level 6, right?
No, I think one person level 7, and then
2 level 6,
and then
so,
1 6, 1 5, 1 4, 1 3, 1 2, 1 1. Yeah.
okay.
So,
I thought we were giving the same exact thing to level.
No, we just
Okay.
we don't have any ties at any ranks. We'll have 1 person per rank.
All right, that I just making that clear.
Sounds good.
Yep. Easy to lose that in the mix if we don't have a whiteboard and like a visual. It's all in the abstract. So yeah, no ties at any level in today. We'll just work through them one at a time.
Okay.
We'll open up the chat. We'll write in the name of the person we believe contributed the most this past week. So level 7.
Okay.
And if everyone's typed it in, does anybody need more time? Hearing
No,
none?
I will say this. It's not who did the most, but who brought the most value.
Right.
It's kind of a little bit of a joke for people that attended the last meeting, but it is actually that.
You're so right. I apologize because it was a clumsy phrasing that I used. So
I've
it's
heard it
true.
before. Most people say it.
Thank you for that. So if everyone's good with time, we'll do a countdown.
Yep.
Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1, and send. Wow. Okay. So we have KROWN, myself, Dan, Eric, all voted for, and Dwayne. KROWN got 2 votes. Dan got 2 votes. Eric and Dwayne and myself, we got 3. We got 1 each. So
Would anyone like to
go ahead.
change their vote?
I'm going to change my vote to KROWN.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure how much work KROWN did this week, because I saw the tool from the pre-meeting.
So I really like what Dan did this week.
It's just for whatever it was.
But
Jason
here's
just-
why I bump KROWN of, because I always look at, you know, what's driving the funnel in, and I thought Dan did a great job of that. I look at what people are doing now, that when you get people in, it works. But the third thing was what actually carries us in the future. So that's what gave me the edge for KROWN, is the stuff he doing isn't one-off stuff that was great, it goes away. Every single thing he does not only makes the people we put in here go better, but it gives us a path that we can ride in the future. Although I think the stuff is Dan doing, especially if he comes up with templates and teaches us how to do those, people to do those. I think Dan could have significant contributions in teaching us all how to do our contribution reports. You know, if he does that, I think that itself would carry the future, but that's not there yet. So while I really thought Dan's was excellent, I gave KROWN the nudge because I think the stuff he's going to do, you know, we can all ride that really well.
Thank you ever so much.
Yep, sounds good. I agree. And Eric, I am planning and looking forward to sharing like tutorials and tips and stuff for the presentations. And I do think that would be cool and helpful. But yeah, I think it makes the most sense. I mean, KROWN is doing far more specifically for Alien World as well. And I love KROWN's presentation today, sharing the screen, showing the NFTs. And then also I heard what you're doing before the breakout room too. So I think that's super helpful. And that's also why I voted to rank you at or level you at the mythical, sparkly, most excellent C level.
Magical.
Magical, yes.
Plus, I love the idea of getting owned. I think that.
You'll all be coned eventually.
I'll change my vote to KROWN, and it looks like we've got a consensus for KROWN on this one. It's no surprise because he was on fire last week with the frenemies protocol.
Oh, more to come. Trust me, more to come.
And again, that's something that everybody's going to start doing. So I mean, it's not just that he did it; it's that he started something that everybody's. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, especially Marco. I can't imagine what he can do to people in a good way.
Okay, so level 6, moving on.
All right.
Everybody got the chat open and I can't call. Sorry if you hear my phone ringing. I'm turning the call away. So everyone write the name in the chat of the person to give level 6. And does anybody need more time? Hearing none, I'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
We have consensus.
Well, okay. Well, thank you,
So-
everybody.
Nice clear cut one there. And Dan, I think what you've done lately has been
Oh, sorry,
fantastic.
but Dan is Dwayne. Oh, I'll change it to Dan, just to make sure.
Thank you. We definitely have consensus then. Yeah, Dan, I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited of what's gonna, like Eric says, how we can ride that in the future and bring more people in. I think all the training tools and anything about that is just, it's going to be a big help. And if you do need any assistance with that, I'd love to be part of that, because I've been creating videos lately for internal training within Alien Worlds, but I'd like to expand that on to like future endeavors.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds
And
absolutely.
I look forward to Marco reporting on who's been coned in his newsletter.
I can do that. I like that. I prefer to come at it from that angle rather than be a serious link news. No, it's fun stuff.
Yeah, it could be a fun recurring section
Yeah, you know,
in the newsletter, maybe.
it was very clear that the focus is very much present and really dug into the project, and that you're bringing the energy, and so like getting results as well. In the world of fractal governance for Eden creators and all that, that's a big sphere. So good work.
Cool. Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate it very much, and I also appreciate it very much, Coleman. And yeah, I would love to collaborate and help make tutorials and stuff like that. And I think that's gonna be especially cool for the Alien Worlds community too, because like your background, you have the cool UFO, and there's so much cool art and so forth that people can display in cool NFTs. So I think that'll be a really cool thing to help empower the Alien Worlds community, and I'm looking forward to working with you more on that.
That'd be great. All right, level 5 results, if everyone is ready to go.
Yep. Everyone writing the person's name in level 5 that they believe deserves level 5. Anybody need more time? Hearing none, we'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay. We have Marco, Dwayne, Eric, and myself.
I'll change my vote to myself.
Eric has 3 votes. Oh, we're changing, some people are changing votes. And okay, Marco's voting for himself, so that's good. So Eric has 3 votes, Dwayne has 2, and Marco has 2.
I'm good with Eric. And Dwayne's been on hiatus. Where's he been? He's been on vacation or doing something else? Or, you know, if there was a chance to knock the king guy who started everything off his thing, you know, I would have said it. I had him last from the beginning. He said it twice.
Well, I would say the same in that, like, well, I voted for Marco because again, same thing. It's clear to me that his focus is here, and that he's had success. He's delivered, right? He's got results, and that's value. That's something really immediate to the space, and that I wanted to at least acknowledge that. I feel like that is how I'm valuing here. But yeah, you know, Eric was a contender, a real contender in my mind, in that, again, he's got traction, right? He did an interview with Dan Larimer. Is there a bigger in this pond? I don't know. I don't think so. So I'm willing to change my vote, but at the same time, for the moment, I'll just listen to everybody else.
I'll advocate for Eric because I believe he's got more game time in Alien Worlds than I do. I mean, I have an excuse, but still, I thought I heard Eric say that he had some decent game time, and I think it's important here.
Okay, so yeah, with that, I'll change my vote too.
Okay, so I think that gives Eric consensus then, correct? And if not, then I'm also happy to vote for Eric too.
Unless you can switch everyone to Dwayne right quick.
I mean, so one of the reasons, in addition to, you know, Dwayne organizing this whole thing, which I've talked about, is super valuable. Also, the interview that I did with Dwayne and Patrick yesterday, it's not out yet, but like Dwayne shared some really, really inspiring things there, and like I understood more about Dwayne's mission, and it's like pretty awesome. And yeah, so I recommend that everybody listen to it when it comes out. But that was also one of the reasons, because I know that he's been focused on other stuff, and you guys make good points about that. But I mean, one, he did start it all, and he leads it every week. He hosts every week, which is awesome. And then two, he gave a super inspiring interview. So I'm happy to go either way, though, because Eric is also doing amazing work too. So I'm happy either way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you for that. It reminds me of a story, but I won't use up the time because we want to get through the exercise, right? So moving on to level 4, if we can write the name of the person in the chat that we'd like to vote for level 4 this week. If everyone's kind of typed in, does anybody need more time? Hearing none, I'll do a countdown in 3, 2, 1.
Told you, game time in here is more important. I like to see that.
Yeah, I mean,
My question is, did Dwayne play Alien Worlds this week? Because if he didn't, I think that should be a. We should be able to make your game time.
I'm saying did I play this week? Yeah, I've got my thing up all the time, but
Okay.
I say Marco. I voted for Marco for a reason. He's been consistent, really important to get the news out, and like Jason says, he's committed. So yeah, my vote's for Marco.
All right, I'll go Marco too.
I'm actually going to change.
It
If
was
you have
close
any
to me
ideas-
anyway.
If you have any ideas, I like putting a little thing next to each fractal to characterize it, and I could say gamers fractal next to it. But I do like the idea of playtime somehow fitting that into that, especially reading the news to see the comments.
I think Dan could help Marco make his contribution reports better. I think there's more in there. I think I think we can make it clear, not just what you're doing, but the impact of what you're doing. I think you can make that even more clear.
Yeah, if you show visuals, like you can show the metrics of like you can show the articles and then all metrics and stuff. You can show a lot of cool stuff.
And I don't even care whether he does that. I think the stuff he's talking about is great, but it's more like, well, I did a fractal newsletter and I listed fractals. Okay, help us understand.
Well,
I got a lot out of that.
It's fractal briefing, so it's meant to go along with the ecosystem. So Eden briefing precedes it, and the idea is, well, what's happening fractally lately, and I encourage people to join. So with BitShares, I could say, here's an exchange if you want it. Genesis Fractal, go there to learn about fractal.
Exactly. In other words, not only are you promoting fractals, you're helping people decide where they want to be. And I think
Right,
if you mention that you're not just reporting on fractals, you're helping people understand fractals, and you're starting the guts of the idea for people. There's almost like you could do fractal review.
So the challenge is in 3 words or less.
Yeah.
What describes this fractal? That's what I'm thinking, because it's got to be small enough that it just the fractal stands out.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in the future, if you can help people understand the impact, not just what you did, but why that's important, I think that'll boost you up, because I think there's a lot in there.
Oh yeah, I can. I like, but yeah, no, but I'm in 4 fractals, so I'm motivated.
There's a GPS service called 3 Random Words, because they find that easier to communicate over the radio. Over 3 random words can identify a GPS coordinate precisely, and you can say somebody meet me at in 3 random words in an app, and that will take you the map instead of like the address, other directions to it. And it's a mnemonic device.
It's bookmarked.
It's well, I think that there's a real power to the muscle memory of the way people learn things, the way people know things and do things, is that it comes from a place of like, you just workshop it, you work through it a few times, and then a person knows how to. It's like driving. Like for somebody who's never driven a car, it's actually a pretty difficult thing.
Well, I'm a pilot, so.
To drive their whole life, they don't
this
have
is-
to think about it at all.
this is-
But
No, no, as a-
you know, that's the point, is when we're really involved in things, we have the confirmation, the bias, or kind of where we have the curse of knowledge is what it is, where we know so much about it, we think that, oh, everybody always has those things that we build these holographic memories where we connect things with tons of other people, and we think that's there. It's kind of like, I saw a movie where the two lead characters said, I'll meet you next to that place we went to that one time. Okay. That's
Okay,
perfectly
and
clear to
time.
them, but everybody else be going, what?
Did we get
I'll
enough?
meet you next to that place you went to that one time. Okay.
Dan, hold on. I don't think we got quite enough vote changes there, because Dan still has written Dwayne in there, and Thomas still has written me for that level 4. But I mean, we were all sort of singing the praises of Marco there, but do either of you have a reason why you'd like to not change? Okay, so
Thomas just changed him.
I'm happy to go for Marco as well.
sorry, we got carried away with that. We should have got around the table faster to say like, but
Am I the only one that has a gamer name? No, Coleman. So me and Coleman are the only one with gamers names. I think we should put forth a proposal. Oh no, wait, Dwayne doesn't. All right, so yeah, no, really.
You all need your own brand,
My
guys.
gamer name precedes Bitcoin. All right, if you look it up and you go through it, I used it as a writer's name, but it was always a gamer's name. With a comic, it has a comic thanks to Well Shares, and it was always meant to do something like that.
that's awesome.
So can I just confirm that level 4 was indeed Marco?
Yes, please. And so now we're ready for level 3.
Level 3.
All right. Everyone would like to please write in the name of the person they'd like to vote for level 3. Does anybody need more time? Hearing none, we'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we got 2 votes for Dwayne and 5 for me.
Oh,
So Eric, yep, go ahead.
that sounds like a consensus to me.
It's close. It's close. I mean, I think that we've heard some logic from Dan about Dwayne, but Dan is still voting for Dwayne. So Dan, would you like to speak to that again, or Eric?
Well, first off, 5 out of 7 is enough for consensus. That's over 66%. And then also, Jason, I also wanted to vote for you too, because I really value everything that you're bringing to the community, and I also think you're doing an excellent job hosting here too, and that's all much appreciated. So, I mean, I also, for the reasons I shared before, I ranked Dwayne because I appreciate what he's doing so much by organizing this, but I'm also happy to go with Jason as well.
I'll say this.
Very happy either way, and you guys are both awesome.
When you take someone down who's consistently ranking high, you're valuing all those people that come just to attend to reach consensus, and you're upholding the decentralization of the whole thing. It's even something that could be promoted. Come here and you're heard.
This
Appreciate
one was
that.
difficult for me. I wanted to put Dwayne down, but at the same time, I think Jason has just edged it for me. I know Dwayne's been really busy with everything that he's been up to, but then he runs this thing. Like, it's not
Right.
easy to run something like this on a weekly basis with all your other commitments that you've got to do. And I think props has to be given to someone who manages to achieve that. To that note, I would like to say that if you ever needed assistance in sending out any rewards or stuff, maybe we could look at making a shared account and doing a multi-sig, so we can send those rewards out for you and then tick it off on a checkbox like this has been done, and then it's been done. That frees you up to do whatever else you have to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. It'd be more distributed. It would follow in what the Eden on EOS Fractal has been doing, more community involvement, and yeah, 100%. I could use some help, 100%. So yeah, let's strive to kind of look at that for, maybe talk about that in our after meeting, and then kind of start setting that up. There can also be some interesting things once we have bigger groups that if we had bigger groups and we went to a round 2, it could be the people in round 2 could be the people on the MSIG for that week. So just, what's more of a future thought. But yeah, no, I love the idea.
By the way, I'm still available for any NFT help.
Perfect. Okay, so I guess that's consensus on level 3, and we're ready to make our votes for level 2.
Sounds good.
Okay, so yeah, let's write the name of the person in there. Does anybody need more time writing the name for level 2? Hearing none, I'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we got 2 votes for Thomas. We do have a consensus, but we also have 2 votes for Thomas. In case anybody's going to change their vote, we should hear from the people who did, right?
Well, Thomas did mention, I don't know if Thomas or Pascal mentioned exchanging fractal tokens on BitShares. That includes Alien Worlds, and that's not anybody's.
I like the 2 Alien World NFTs.
I mean, it makes sense, right? There's an impact factor with that. And it revives a project that I don't think other people are being very active about. So how you measure value, I mean, you could measure it on Delta, because Dwayne's been in his lane doing this, pulling the same cart all along. And this is just another week for him, right? It wasn't even a good week as far as the world of Dwayne is concerned.
I want to talk about, never use the term just another week. The hardest thing you can ever do is do something consistently, even if it's I went to the gym last week. Oh, you do that every week? No, every time you go to the gym, to do that consistently is.
I'd also throw out there that Dan Larimer has mentioned BitShares. So, if BitShares can connect all the fractal tokens,
That'd be cool.
getting started now is fun. And as well as the NFT, we spent a lot of time talking about the NFTs that BitShares is now starting.
And Thomas is another one that I'd like to learn more of. That sometimes I feel like I'm not voting fairly because I just don't know enough.
Come join the BitShares meeting next week. No, really.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I think that it looks like Conan is written in the consensus there. Although I was willing to change my vote, actually. Just, I know that organizing the meeting and being consistent is a really hard thing to do. But I still want to incentivize Dwayne to do more. I want Dwayne to be hungry.
I don't think
of the others.
No, this is the way it works in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, if I had no peer pressure to get this, my responsibilities done, you know what I mean? Everyone, I need a little push as well. So you can see also that other times, other weeks, where I've felt I've done a lot, I voted for myself first place. And you can take a cue off of my voting this week, of how I felt, of how much I did as well, right? So I think the consensus came out, pretty good for our group of 7.
It did, and honestly, it was. We're all getting used to this, I think. Like, we workshop it a few times, run through the exercise a few times, and we get a sense of what to expect of it, what's normal, what's good, and yeah.
I do look forward to hearing more of how Thomas stuff plays out, because it's very cool. That's the problem with this whole group. It was very
Well, we
very
always
cool. There's
we always stay on
no
after
slackers in this whole group.
after we've done our thing, after we've done this fractally, we always stay on and just chat in case we have question and answer about each other's projects. And because there's often like the kind of thing Conan was talking about, like there are ways in which we could be like, hey, I'll do that for you, you do this, and then we're both forward. And I still have BitShares, and BitShares fractally is being used to determine what like improvement protocols, or I'm curious about it.
BitShares Fractal, where I was handing out NFTs from different fractals to kind of encourage inter-blockchain communication, not on a technical level, but a human governance level. So, I gave away the Alien World NFTs, and the goal is to get people to spread the word about Alien Worlds, get maybe people only from the BitShares ecosystem might not know about it. Now, hey, look, they get this NFT and they're like, well, if you want it, now you have to make an account. And, it's just kind of, I think, a creative way to try and support other communities and sponsor other communities. I know Dan says when the technology rolls out that we'll be able to like sponsor and stake each other's communities. I think you can do that in more way, I think we can do that now through actions like that. So, in BitShares, that's a big part of what we're talking about. And, so, we talked about a week ago, then we did it the other day. So it's nice to talk about something and then do it. But, pretty much naturally, the point of BitShares Fractal is to add value to BitShares. And I think integrating as much as possible with every community in Fractal is a winning recipe, because I do think there's going to be a lot of value on Fractally. I can envision, rather than looking at the top 50 on Coin Market Cap, people might be looking, well, what's the top 50 fractals and Fractally, I want to get some of those tokens because these people are just constantly creating value, and that's where people would want to invest their money in, people that are creating value.
And Marco will be reporting on that, so will be very cool. And then
Yeah, I try to make
and we'll be
every-
interviewing everybody.
I try to make every fractal, and I try to draw some sort of cross thing between them to keep the Genesis fractal with the main points going on, and help mitigate any.
And of course, once you see Cone Man's new fractal dashboard, we'll really be excited.
By the way, I'm behind the work, so I'm gonna leave you guys in the background so you can hear. I can respond to stuff still, but yeah, I gotta do some work. Been fun.
I was thinking too that, the success of Alien Worlds has been bridging different blockchains. The hope and the future of it is that, we can make other games and draw the Alien Worlds communities to play other games on top or with Alien Worlds. So I'm really glad that this is fun, that, we're laughing and we're having fun at this meeting. And, we're all pretty much into EOS, EOS and governance, right? We're all passionate about this. What would be the common factor of fun and a game that might be not this kind of meeting? And it's not for, the next meeting, but in the future, I can see our fractal turning into a game. Maybe it's not the rating of what we've done for Alien Worlds or governance. Maybe it's we all come on here and who has dropped the most amount of NFTs in these worlds. Like it could be a more granular game. So I don't have many suggestions, but I think that, the way to keep Alien Worlds going is more fun games. We want to practice governance. How do we mix the two? We don't really, at some point we just don't need to wait. Well, I guess it could be even a separate meeting. I'm just thinking out loud of going, what kind of game would we want to play? This is a fun one, right? And then how would you expand that into these gamifications where now you're having fun of like the frenemies. Maybe it's just a gamification that, who do we drop? Which other fractals have we dropped the most tokens? Whose liquidity? All these other things. And by all means, it's going to be a little easier with a UI and a little bit more, understanding of how all these fractals work together and stuff. But yeah, the future is exciting, right? Because we can plan, we can do whatever we want.
Well, honestly, Dwayne, I think I know one pattern to answer that with, and it is Pokemon Go. Do what they did. Make it an adventure in reality. There's a theory of video games, of all video games, that applies to all of them, that says they are a safe adventure because your body is not exposed to any danger, right? You're in a safe, confined area playing your video game, but your mind is solving challenges, right? Overcoming obstacles. And there's a little bit of a thrill to it, I guess. People find a thrill, and it's a convenience of adventure. But games that have a big opportunity to capture the imagination of the audience, same way Pokemon Go did, only without the tracking bugs. I never played that game because everyone who was in the know at the time was like, look at what this app does. Like, this whole app is geocentric. It's GPS. The cartoons that you have to go look for, it's like a treasure map with your phone. You're going around the sidewalk looking for the thing. And what else is it reading? It reads all of your other apps. It was pretty invasive. And we tell that story, right? We have a better way of doing the same thing, but you give the satisfaction of real adventure. You can still make it safe. Don't get them to like climb mountains or anything. And I'm sorry, I'm a bunch of people back. I missed much Culture's meeting, so I'm only going to stay on a few more moments.
Cool.
Thomas, what do you want to leave us with, bud? Have you got to sign out? What's up?
Yeah. Bye, everybody. I gotta run.
Thanks,
Okay.
Thomas.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's great seeing you, Thomas. Thanks so much. I'll also share your blog post too, or rather your Hive article, because I was planning to share that. But I recommend everybody, if you're not familiar with Thomas's work, to check out the Hive Steam 1900. He's got a bunch of awesome articles about Fractally and more with the BitShares Fractal too. But yeah, thanks, Thomas.
Appreciate that, Dan. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Catch you guys later.
Catch you later. Yeah. I have to go to, I'm able to listen, but I have to turn my video off. And then, yeah, I would also just like to say, in addition to recommending Thomas's articles, they're awesome. That the ideas that Dwayne and Jason were sharing about games, and also kind of the way that Thomas is like pioneering the NFTs with different communities. And that's a really cool discussion. So, yeah, so thanks for that. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, I got to scoot off as well in about 5 here, guys. Got a full day by the looks of it to make some NFTs and send out some fractals. Jeez.
It does, yeah.
Got to get my respect up.
We'll have to organize a system that we can assist you in that. If we're doing it on Wax, now I made a multi-sig demo a long time ago. The only problem is once you add an account onto a multi-sig on Wax, it gives you a roadblock that you can't undo that account. So having a dynamic week by week changing system is quite difficult. I'm sure there are some ways of going about it, and it might just be a case of a trust-based system where you change the password to an account each week, and that password is given to, a specific group or whatever. It's probably not, it's not the safest or most ideal way of going about it, but it is an idea.
Well, we could also do a multi-sig that just gives, whoever is interested, part of this group, just, one authority, which means that any of us, are on that account, and any of us can do any of these steps to create, because what I'll do today is I'll make the cheat list of all the steps involved, because it's not just sending out the NFTs, right? So the first step is, so I have a fractal token. That one will be automated with Vlad's tool. So as of next week, it will give out the fractal wax token. So we won't have to do that. But I do have to create the NFT from the templates and then kind of just align, how many for this week, how many mythical and legendary and stuff. And then there's 2 steps on the backed by extras website where I take that NFT ID and then I attach the LD2 coin, then I attach KROWN, and just in the right sums, and then send it out. But I will do just kind of a, something to keep me in line and something to share with the group of what those steps are. And then, maybe next week we can figure out just adding people to it, and we just allocate every week. And, that could get respect. You know what I mean? That's a job. It's kind of like a shovel ready job. Who wants to do that? You know what I mean? You'd get some respect for the week. So, but I'll get through this one, make kind of the instructions on how to do it, and we can kind of delegate and see how we, all pitch in for next week.
Yeah, that works. Also, I had some ideas about a fractal token. Like, it's a governance token, and the fact that you're earning it for participating in governance. Perhaps it could be used in a voting system. I don't know if you've all seen Consortium, which is an EOS voting tool. But Alien Worlds also has one for galactic hubs, which honestly we need to use it more. But it's just like you put your TLM in, and this is what it's been used so far to vote for. It's like EOS USA is the reigning champion of for-profit endeavors, and who was the most helpful community member. Pasha on the official Discord got that. And best open source contribution. So there's the alienworlds.tools site raining on there. And then when you vote with TLM, you get poll tokens, which I believe you can then take to Alcor and do a swap for other tokens as well. So you might lose some value on, say, like TLM, for example. I know polls not one-to-one worth as much, but we can use it as a voting system as well for future jobs. It's just something to keep in mind for what you could use fractal tokens for.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
I was going to add a couple of things to that. So one, I'm a big fan of Consortium, as Dwayne is too, I think. And Vlad, who Dwayne was mentioning, who's building the tooling for fractals and built a lot of tooling for Eden Fractal, and is helping Dwayne out with Alien Worlds fractal tooling now. Is also the developer for Consortium too. So there's a lot of overlap there. And we're planning to use Consortium for the Eden Fractal quite a bit. Also, I was gonna, and so one, thanks Conan for bringing that up and then showing that, and I think it's very cool how the Alien Worlds can use using it. I'd love to see more of that. But I was also going to ask Dwayne too, if you've been following the Eden Fractal chat in the Discord or in the developers chat, because I also produced some documentation about how about a couple of manual steps that you can use with the tool, or rather that you need to use with the tool that Vlad built, because it's not entirely automatic. There's still some steps there. So I'm wondering if you've seen that documentation and if you're aware of that.
No, I'll look that up. That's awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not great that it's not fully automated. It'd be better if it's fully automated, and right now it does take a couple manual steps. So basically, with the tool that Vlad and James built, people can submit to the consensus to the blockchain, and then an administrator like you or Coleman or me or whoever could then go and then see all the rankings, and you have to just copy and paste it, format into JSON, and then submit another transaction. So that's it's a little bit extra step, but it only takes a few minutes. And then I wrote documentation that you can find in the Eden Fractal Discord that has detailed steps about how that all works.
But that's not the worst thing in the world, though. Even if it's not fully automated, that at least gives user oversight over it, because funny quirk of having things automatic is sometimes they'll post something that hasn't been vetted properly and then they give out incorrect information that's stuck on blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. They're planning to automate it fully at some point, but there's a lot more like complexity and considerations like that, and it also takes longer to code. So for now, it's just, it has that one manual step that doesn't take much time, and it helps protect against all those, you know, bad issues and stuff.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's awesome.
Before anyone leaves, I will just post the multi-sig demo that I made many moons ago now. It was back in May last year. So there might have been some iteration changes that make it even better now. But it was just showing off how multi-sig worked in general using blocks. And yeah, I didn't touch on everything to do with multi-sig. Like, there is structure and hierarchy that you can do, so not one person has the authority to like drain the account of the tokens by mistake or something like that. But yeah, it just gives you a rough overview. So if you wanted to take a look at that, there's that link.
Sounds great. Thank you. I'll check this out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks. I've got to run here, so I will catch you guys on the flip side.
Take
Okay,
it easy.
cool.
I'm probably going to go make some food myself, but yeah, it's been a good meeting today.
Yeah.
Yep, same here.
That was awesome.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Dwayne Coleman.
Wait, sorry,
Eric, have a great
Dwayne.
day.
Before you go, you haven't done the spinny wheelie.
Oh, yes. You are awesome. Let me bring it up. All right. Left side, 1,000 trillium. Oh, Eric, big winner.
There you go, Eric.
Woo! Bam. 1,000 TLN.
I have always wanted 1,000 trillion.
Well, it's your day.
I'm happy.
All right, 1 million crown. Oh, Thomas. All right.
Nice. I'm happy for Thomas.
Yeah. That's awesome. Woohoo! Sweet. Thanks so much, Coleman. I'll send you an invite for Tuesday for the drop tool. And Eric, I'll see you at 2 PST.
And I will send you the link.
That's awesome.
All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.
You betcha. Adios.
Everyone, take care.